Why does this always happen to me? This is why dynamic knowledge-based authentication, powered by large language models, represents the next era of authentication. The main difference between traditional authentication systems and DKBA authentication systems is that traditional systems are usually deterministic, static, and easy to audit. However, they have clear flaws such as being vulnerable to phishing attacks, social engineering, and credential reuse. On the other hand, DKBA authentication systems use dynamic questions, are more resistant to phishing attacks, and are much harder to automate, which makes larger scale attacks difficult to succeed. That said, DKBA systems also have limitations. These include the possibility of incorrect judgments, explainability issues, and the fact that they can be more time-consuming. These are areas we are still actively developing and improving. And this is how LLM-DKBA works. First, the database feeds the LLM with past behavior patterns, typical action timing devices, and historical interactions or preferences. Next, the question LLM uses the data to generate a dynamic question for the user. The question is then sent to the user, and the user's answer is forwarded to the validation LLM. At the same time, the validation LLM also receives the original question from the question LLM in order to properly validate the response. After that, the validation LLM sends its results to the assessment node, which outputs one of these three outcomes: pass, deny, or suspect. If the result is suspect, the system loops back, and the question LLM generates another question for the user to answer. This is our demo for the DKBA authentication system. As you can see, if you type the exact correct answer to the question, you will pass. On the other hand, if you type an incorrect answer, you will be denied. Right now, we're still working on the suspect stage. At the moment, answers that are almost correct are marked as suspect, but the final output is still denied.
We target high-value markets with recurring identity verification needs. Our initial focus is online education and professional certification, where secure verification prevents fraud at scale. We then expand into financial services, serving professionals and consumers handling sensitive data. At scale, we address enterprise knowledge workers through API licensing partnerships. Unlike OKTA, Ping Identity, or Duo, which focuses on access or passwordless logins, our solution delivers adaptive, human-centric identity intelligence across all these markets.
Look, we've all been there staring at a screen trying to remember a fixed password we wrote 5 years ago. It's annoying, and honestly, it's not safe anymore.
That's why we built LLM-DKBA. We want to create a system that actually gets you, one that's smart enough to know that it's you by the way you talk, not by just a rigid preset password.
We're looking at a future where security feels natural, not like a chore. Thanks for listening.